Biomed Nexus, daily updates, your essential biotech, medtech, and pharma recap. No noise, just what matters. TLDR Eli Lilly, LOI, announced a definitive agreement to acquire Ajax Therapeutics for up to $2 3B in cash. Ajax's lead program, AJ1-1095, is a first-in-class type 2 JAK2 inhibitor in phase 1 for myelofibrosis. This is Lilly's fifth acquisition of 2026, bringing total announced deal value to approximately $19, 8B in under 3 months. Lilly Oncology President Jacob van Naarden said proof of concept data will be presented later this year. Regeneron, Regen, signed an MFN pricing deal with the White House on April 23rd, becoming the 17th and final major pharma company to do so. All 17 targeted companies, representing 86% of the branded drug market, have now signed. Praluent will be listed on Trump RX at $225, down from $537. Regeneron also committed to significant U.S. manufacturing investment. Ligand Pharmaceuticals, LGND, announced a definitive agreement to acquire Exoma royalty, Exoma, for $739, $39 a share. The deal adds more than 120 treatments, including royalties on Roche's Vabysmo, to Ligand's royalty aggregation portfolio. Lilly Q1 earnings are tomorrow, April 30th. Foundayo launch data, Achieve-4 commentary, and M&A integration updates will define the call. Executive takeaway: Lilly is buying a company a week. That is not hyperbole. Since February, Lilly has announced 5 acquisitions. Orna Therapeutics, $2 4B, in vivo CAR-T, February. Centessa Pharmaceuticals, 7-8B, narcolepsy, March. Colonia Therapeutics, 7B, in vivo CAR-T, April 20. Crossbridge Bio, 300 Nella, dual payload ADC, April 2010. And now Ajax Therapeutics, $2, 3B, blood cancer, April 27. Total approximately $19, 8B. CNBC noted that Lilly also acquired Scorpion Therapeutics earlier this year, which would push the total even higher. The Ajax deal adds a first-in-class type 2 JAK2 inhibitor to Lilly's blood cancer portfolio. All currently approved JAK2 inhibitors for myelofibrosis, ruxolitinib, fedratinib, pacritinib, momelotinib, bind the type 1 conformation. Patients who develop resistance to type 1 inhibitors have limited options. AJ1-11095 binds the type 2 conformation, designed to deliver deeper disease control and overcome type 1 resistance. Phase 1 began in late 2024 and proof-of-concept data are expected later this year. Meanwhile, the Regeneron MFN deal closes a chapter. All 17 companies the White House targeted last July have now signed. The deals cover 86% of the branded drug market. Regeneron was the last holdout. The practical impact on drug prices remains debated. Critics note Medicaid already pays less than Medicare and private insurers, but the political signal is unmistakable. The tariff framework forced voluntary compliance from every major pharma company. Read full analysis, what to watch. Lilly Q1 earnings, tomorrow, April 30. Foundayo launch, TRX data through mid-April. Achieve-4 diabetes, filing timeline, 5 acquisition integration strategy, tariff positioning, Zepbound, Mounjaro revenue, Ajax proof of concept, data, AJ1-1095, phase 1 data expected later in 2026. The type 2 JAK2 differentiation claim will be tested. Dose selection for registrational development also expected this year. MFN implementation, with all 17 companies signed, watch for the actual pricing impact. How many drugs appear on Trump RX? What are the real discounts versus existing PBM negotiated rates? Critics argue the MFN deals largely mirror existing Medicaid pricing. ASCO, May 29th to June 2nd. Revolution Medicine's plenary session on May 31st remains the most anticipated oncology presentation of the year. Top story: Lilly acquires Ajax Therapeutics for up to $2. 3B, its 5th deal of the year. LLY, what happened? Eli Lilly announced a definitive agreement on April 27 to acquire Ajax Therapeutics, a privately held biopharmaceutical company developing next-generation JAK inhibitors for myeloproliferative neoplasms, MPNs. The total deal value is up to $2, $3 in cash, including an upfront payment and milestone payments upon clinical and regulatory achievements. Ajax is based in Cambridge, Massachusetts and New York, close expected in the coming months. The asset, AJ1-11095, is a first-in-class, once-daily oral type 2 JAK2 inhibitor currently in Phase 1 AJX101 trial NCT06343805 in patients with myelofibrosis who have previously been treated with a type 1 JAK2 inhibitor. Unlike all approved JAK2 inhibitors, ruxolitinib, fedratinib, pacritinib, momelotinib, which bind the type 1 conformation of JAK2, AJ1-11095 was designed to bind the type 2 conformation. This unique binding mode is intended to deliver deeper and more durable disease control and provide a treatment option for patients who develop resistance to existing therapies. Dose selection for future registrational development is expected in 2026. Executive impact. Lilly Oncology President Jacob van Naarden said, "We look forward to the presentation of clinical proof-of-concept data later in 2026, rapidly advancing AJ1-11095 into registrational clinical trials and using our expertise in blood cancer to hopefully deliver another important new medicine to patients and hematologists." Lilly's 2026 M&A total now stands at approximately $19, $8 across 5 announced acquisitions: Orna Therapeutics, 2-4B, in vivo CAR-T, autoimmune; Centessa Pharmaceuticals, 7-8B, narcolepsy, OX2R, Colonia; Therapeutics, up to 7B, in vivo CAR-T, myeloma; Crossbridge Bio, up to 300 netos, dual payload ADC; Ajax Therapeutics, up to $2, 3B, type 2, JAK2 myelofibrosis. Fierce Biotech called it Lilly's run of near-weekly acquisitions and noted the pace shows no sign of letting up. The strategic logic is consistent. Lilly is building a diversified oncology, cell therapy, and neuroscience franchise to extend growth beyond its GLP-1 dominance. Policy and public health. Regeneron signs MFN deal, completing all 17 White House agreements. Reg and what happened? Regeneron signed a most favored nation pricing agreement with the White House on April 23rd, becoming the 17th and final major pharmaceutical company to do so. The deal was announced in an Oval Office ceremony. Regeneron was the last holdout among the companies targeted by the administration in letters sent last July. The deal structure. Regeneron agreed to lower Medicaid prices on all current and future drugs to MFN levels. Praluent, cholesterol, will be listed on Trump Rx at $225, down from $537, 58% reduction. All new Regeneron medicines will receive MFN pricing for U.S. patients. Regeneron committed billions in U.S. manufacturing investment as part of the agreement. The company will also provide Otarmeni, gene therapy for genetic hearing loss, approved the same day under CNPV, at no cost to U.S. patients. Executive impact. With all 17 companies signed, the MFN initiative now covers approximately 86% of the branded drug market, according to the White House. The full list: Pfizer, AstraZeneca, EMD Serono, Eli Lilly, Novo Nordisk, Amgen, Bristol Myers Squibb, Boehringer Ingelheim, Genentech, Gilead Sciences, GSK, Merck, Novartis, Sanofi, Johnson & Johnson, AbbVie, and Regeneron. Stat called it the close of the first round of drug price negotiations. Critics note that the deals primarily affect Medicaid pricing, which is already deeply discounted, and Trump Rx listings, which reach a limited patient base, while Medicare and private insurance, where most spending occurs, are not directly covered. Corporate and business developments. Ligand acquires Exoma royalty for $739 million. LGND. Zomalike and Pharmaceuticals announced a definitive agreement to acquire Zoma royalty for approximately $739 in cash, 39 share, roughly 3% premium. The deal adds more than 120 treatments to Ligand's portfolio, including 7 marketed products with royalty streams from Roche's Vabysmo, Servier's Ojemda, and Zevra's Miplyffa. At peak, Ligand expects Vabysmo royalties worth $37.5 annually. The combined company will hold economic rights to more than 200 drugs in development or on the market. Ligand raised its 2026 revenue outlook to $270 to $310 from $245 to $285 and expects the acquisition to be immediately accretive. Exoma shares rose 9.7% the week ahead. Tomorrow, April 30th, Lilly Q1 earnings, April 28th to 29, Pharma Partnering US Summit, San Diego. This week, next, Novo Nordisk, Q1 earnings, first oral Wegovy revenue, May 2 to 5, DDW annual meeting, May 6th, Royalty Pharma, Q1 earnings, May 11, Daiichi Sankyo, delayed earnings, tariff impact modeling, May 12 to 14, Fierce Biotech Week, Boston, May 29 to June, Seoul, ASCO annual meeting, Chicago, May 31, ASCO, plenary, Resolute 302, full data, RVMD, read, full analysis, Biomed, Nexus, Pro, Institutional Intelligence, brief, Lilly 20 billion deals 1 integration machine 5 acquisitions in under 3 months, nearly $20 in total committed capital, 2 in vivo CAR-T platforms, Colonia plus Orna, a narcolepsy franchise, Centessa, a dual-payload ADC platform, Crossbridge, and now a first-in-class blood cancer drug, Ajax. No other large pharma company has executed this volume of deal-making in this compressed a time frame in 2026. The bull case, Lilly has the balance sheet, the commercial infrastructure, and the therapeutic area expertise to integrate all 5. GLP-1 revenues provide an enormous cash generation engine. Each acquisition targets a different therapeutic area: autoimmune, oncology, narcolepsy, blood cancer, reducing integration complexity since the teams do not overlap. Lilly Oncology President Van Naarden is executing a coherent oncology build across cell therapy, ADCs, and now targeted small molecules. The bear case, 5 integrations in parallel, is unprecedented for any pharma company. Colonia and Orna are both early-stage platforms that may take years to generate revenue. Centessa's Clemenorexton must compete with Takeda's Ovaparexton. Ajax is phase 1 with no proof of concept data yet. And all of this is happening while Lilly simultaneously launches Foundayo, its most important new product in years. Execution risk is not zero. The question Lilly will answer tomorrow on the Q1 call: is there a 6th deal coming, or is the company shifting to integration mode? Myelofibrosis. The Type 2 opportunity. Myelofibrosis is a rare chronic blood cancer in which scar tissue builds up in the bone marrow, disrupting normal blood cell production. Current treatment relies on JAK2 inhibitors. Ruxolitinib is the standard, but many patients eventually develop resistance or lose response. AJ195's differentiation is structural. Type Y JAK2 inhibitors bind the active conformation of the kinase. Type 2 inhibitors bind the inactive conformation, a fundamentally different binding mode that may overcome the resistance mechanisms that limit current therapies. If proof of concept data later this year show meaningful responses in patients who failed type 1 or JAK2 inhibitors, Ajax would be the first validated therapy for this resistant population. The myelofibrosis market is dominated by ruxolitinib, Incyte, Novartis, and represents a multi-billion-dollar opportunity. A type 2 inhibitor that addresses the resistance population could capture a significant share, but this is phase 1 with no clinical data yet. Lilly is paying $2.3b for a preclinical thesis that has not been proven in humans. The data later this year will determine whether this was a visionary acquisition or an overpay. MFN, the scorecard, all 17 companies have signed. What do the deals actually do? What they cover? Medicaid pricing aligned to lowest prices in comparable developed nations. Selected drugs listed on Trump Rx at discounted prices. U.S. manufacturing commitments totaling hundreds of billions. What they do not cover: Medicare Part D pricing, separate from MFN, governed by IRA negotiations. Private insurance pricing, not addressed. The vast majority of U.S. drug spending flows through Medicare and private insurance, not Medicaid. The real impact: the MFN deals are politically significant but economically modest for most companies. Medicaid represents roughly 20 to 25% of U.S. drug revenue for large pharma, and Medicaid rebates already bring net prices well below list. The Trump Rx portal reaches a limited patient base. The administration gets headlines. Pharma gets tariff relief. The structural economics of U.S. drug pricing remain largely unchanged. The bigger question is whether the administration uses the MFN framework as a foundation for broader pricing reform, including Medicare and private insurance, or whether this is the end point. Catalyst calendar, April 2026. Forward date event tickers. Tomorrow, Lilly Q1 earnings LLY. This week, Chid next. Novo Nordisk Q1 earnings. First oral Wegovy revenue. NVO May. 25 DDW annual meeting. Multiple May. 6 Royalty Pharma. Q1 earnings RPRX May. 11 Daiichi Sankyo delayed earnings. Tariff impact. DSNKY May. 12-14 Fierce Biotech Week. Boston. Multiple May. 19 RBC Global Healthcare Conference. New York. Multiple May 29 to June, 2 ASCO Annual Meeting, Chicago. Multiple May 31 ASCO Plenary, Resolute 302. Full data RVM end of Q2 Lilly Foundeo. T2D filing under CNPV, expected LLY late, May 2026. Commerce, Section 232 report on medical devices, expected MDT, BSX, SYK, ISRG June 2026. Takeda CEO transition, Julie Kim, TAC July. Medicare GLP-1 bridge program launches LLY, NVO July. 31 Section 232 Pharma tariffs, effective, large companies. Multiple H2 2026 Lilly Colonia. Close expected LLY H2 2026 Ajax. Proof of concept data. Expected LLY H2 2026 Beeline. Medicines Afimatorin. Phase 2 SLE readout private H2 2026 Revolution Medicines. CNPV NDA filing expected RVMD H2 2026 Novo Nordisk weekly. US launch first weekly insulin. NVO mid 2026 Lilly. Retatrutide Phase 3 obesity readouts. Triumph program. LOI SAT 19 Ultragenics. UX111 PDUFA. Sanfilippo Type A gene therapy. Raresept 29 Section 232 Pharma tariffs. Effective all other companies. Multiple 2027 Sun Pharma Organon. Close expected OGN end of 2026 PHRMA. CEO transition a visit. The ProHub read. Full article. Is your company listed in the Biomed Nexus directory? 2104 companies across 14 categories. Claim or upgrade your listing. Sponsorship slots for 2026 are limited. See packages and pricing.